let's talk a little bit about box plots or box and whisker plots. So there are three examples on the screen right now of box and whisker plots, and we're going to look at and discuss a few things about them, how to make them. Maybe you've seen them before, maybe not, but first of all, again, there's three examples here. This example, the first one right here, is skewed left. And remember, we've had that terminology before. Skewed left means there's something stretching way out on the left. So our data is kind of stretched out on the left, it draws out on the left farther. The second example is skewed right. It's stretched way out on the right. And then we have kind of symmetric data or symmetry or roughly symmetric data where it kind of is all balanced out and has some nice symmetry to it. So those are just three examples of box plots, how we could talk about how they're skewed or symmetrical. But the way we make box plots is we first have to start with the 5-number summary. We need to find 5 numbers. It is actually called the 5-number summary. So, and those 5 numbers are called the minimum. We know about minimum, the smallest number so far. We have Q1, we'll discuss that in a minute. The median, we know how to find median, that's the middle number. Q3, we'll discuss that also in a minute. And the maximum, the highest numbers. We already know what minimum means. We already know what median means. And we already know what maximum means. We just need to talk about the rest. So before we can draw a box plot, we need to know what those 5 numbers are. Now visually, I'm going to let you know what those 5 numbers tell me. And this is what they tell me. The minimum number in my data is going to be this far left end of what we call a whisker sometimes, or this line. So this dot here is the minimum. That was to represent the minimum. We'll have, let me jump to median, by the way. The median is going to be the line that cuts our box in half. Now, I shouldn't say in half. It's just going to be the line that goes through the box, somewhere inside the box. It does not have to be right down the middle, but that's the median. And then the maximum will be our far right end point. Here, our maximum, it doesn't have to be a point, but the end of this whisker on this side. Okay, but the Q1 and Q3, which we have not talked about how to calculate yet, but those are the ends of the box here. So Q1 and Q3 send up, basically set up the ends of the box. Now that distance, when we figure out whatever Q1 is and whatever Q3 is, that distance from Q1 to Q3 is going to be called the IQR, which actually is called the interquartile range, and that will come up a little bit later too. But the key here is that a box plot divides our data into quarters. Now the picture may not look perfectly like quarters, but what that says is this line outside here, this whisker from here to here, that is going to represent 1/4 of my data in my study. And this box right here will represent 1/4 of the data in my study. This box will be 1/4 of the data. And this last whisker or line on the edge will be another 1/4. So what a box and whisker plot does is it basically takes our data and breaks it into quarters or fourths. So here's really what Q1 and Q3 are, okay, the steps that we need to follow. The first thing we'll need to do is we'll need to find the median of our data. And remember, to find the median, we would have to list our data off in order from smallest to biggest and then just pick out the middle number. Remember, if there is no middle number, if there's 2 numbers that happen to be in the middle, we would have to average them. Okay, once we find the median, that median is going to cut our data set in half. Okay, in half. So we're going to take our data set and cut it in half by finding the median. And then basically what we're going to do is find the median of each of those halves. And that's what Q1 and Q3 are. Q1 would be the median of the lower half, and Q3 will be the median of the upper half. So that's kind of the main process. Now let's practice a little bit. Here's a data set that I'm going to use to find the 5-number summary for. And so remember, to do the 5-number summary, the first thing we need to do is we need to list off our numbers in order because we need the median. That's the first step, is find the median. So let's see here. The smallest number I see is 2. So I'm going to make a list here, renumber my list. So 2, it looks like we have, we'll cross them off. 1, 2, 3. It looks like there's 3 of those. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got 3 of those. Now let's look for 3. So it looks like we got 1, 3. Got a 3 there. All right, we've got 1, 2, 4s. I'll list those off. And we've got 1, 2, 5s. List those off. And let's see, only one 6. Looks like there's 2 7s and an 8 and a 9. Okay, there's our data all listed out in order. That's a good start, and that's going to help me figure out what my median is. That's kind of what I need first, although I could do minimum and maximum, I guess, first if you wanted to. So let's see how many numbers we have. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 numbers. 13 divided by 2, 6.5. It looks like I've got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 numbers right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 numbers right there. So I've got 6 numbers on each side, which means this 5 is left right down the middle right there, which means that 5 is my median. Right, that 5 is the median right there. Now what we've done is that 5 is right there on the border. That is the breaking point. All right, then the next step is I need to take the 2 halves. I need to take the left half and the right half of my data now. The 5 is sitting there on the border. The 5 stays right here. I need to take the rest of these right here and figure out what my median is. So I see 2, 2, 2. And on this side, 4, 4, 3. It looks like the median would fall right here in the middle of 2 and 3, which means, again, remember I need to find the average of 2 and 3, which will be 2.5. That's the median of the lower half. That is called Q1. I'll need to do the same on this side. I will need to look at the other half and go 5, 6, 7, 9, 8, 7, right down the middle right here between the 7 and the 7. And I don't need to really average 7 and 7 because the answer is 7 then. And that is called Q3, the middle of the upper half. Now we also know what the minimum is. Here's 2, that's the minimum for my data set. We also know the maximum, that's over here, that's 9, that's the max for my data set. So I really found the 5 number summary. Those are the 5 numbers that I need when I am going to try to set up a histogram, or I'm sorry, a box plot. And that right there, those numbers right there, are the numbers I will use to set up my box plot. I basically will draw this out. I see my numbers are from 2 to 9, so I'm going to draw a number line here, and I'm going to label 2 as the left side and 9 as the right side, since I guess I'm not going to go beyond those. I'm going to put a dash at 2, because that's my minimum. Put a dash at 9, that's my maximum. I'm also going to put dashes at Q1. Now, ooh, 2, let's see here. 2, maybe we should try to scale this out here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did the best I could. Okay, so 2.5, I'm going to put another dash because that's the Q1. I'm going to put a dash at 2.5. The median is 5, so I'm going to go 3, 4, 5. Here's 5. I'm going to put a dash at 5. That's the median. And then at Q3, which is 7, I'm going to put another dash. Now, I basically dashed the 5 number summary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I dash them, I really have everything I need to make the box plot. The middle 3 dashes connect to make the box. And outside the box, I can just connect with a line. And I know the examples of the box plots that I showed earlier and that you'll see in your textbook don't have the dashes on the ends. I've seen other books use the dashes on the ends, and I'm perfectly fine if you do that. And there is my box and whisker plot that represents that data set right there. Slightly skewed to the right. It's stretched out a little more to the right than it is to the left there.